So about 2 hours into his shift of me teaching him, he goes, I'm gonna get a smoke break. Just never came back. He just left. he just straight up left. He never came back. And then I had to do the whole shift on my own, then doing all this shit. And I was like, I went to my boss and I'm like, yeah, he didn't come back.
He just went for a smoke break. And
he went for a smoke break about 2 hours ago.
Dude, he just pulled like the dad leaving for a smoke break.
That's what I was thinking.
He went to go buy cigarettes. He never came back.
Like my brother worked for McDonald's, and when I turned 16, I really wanted the fucking Xbox One. So I was like, I'm gonna get a job at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You get paid like £4.10 an hour, which is like $5. I was like maybe $5.50. And yeah, I fucking hated it. And I remember my brother telling me, he was like, yeah, you're gonna get sick of McDonald's food really fast. And I was like 6 months in, I'm like, I fucking love this food still. Like, 'cause you'd get to make your own, like, you weren't supposed to, but like the managers were like, you can have this. Like, go on. So you can basically make your own burger. Right. So I used to just make like in the UK, we have like fried chicken sandwiches, like fancy ones. They used they had like a better meat. I mean, it's still all fucking awful. But I would just fucking put like a handful of fucking bacon and just shove it on. That was like the best part. Right. And then you could get like meals for like half price, but everything else was fucking awful at McDonald's. Everything was awful. Like the people were the worst part, man. They were just like,
like the workers or the customers?
Workers. The workers.
Oh, really?
Because I just didn't get on with any of them. Right. And they were all, like, not to be mean, but a lot of the ones that I worked with were like people that like, I wouldn't be friends with.
I don't know. Whenever I go to a McDonald's and I see like an employee smiling, I'm like, he's sus.
Yeah.
Like, who is he murdered today? So some like Orange is sus right now. You know what I mean?
I remember I legitimately got like I had to go and sit in I got like fucking put on like detention for like 20 minutes
at the McDonald's,
because I was working on the fucking like making the chicken burgers and the burgers. I was making the burgers and they told me off for not smiling. And I said, why do I have to smile when making burgers? And they looked at me like, why did you ask that question? And they told me to go and take a break for 20 minutes.
It's like a George Orwell novel, isn't it?
I was like, what do you mean?
Dystopia. Everyone has to smile.
I was like, what do you mean? Why am I not fucking smiling, mate? I'm making a fucking burger. What do you mean? I couldn't believe. I was furious.
It's like they're at home. They make their own sandwich. It's like, shit, I forgot to smile.
I couldn't believe it. And so I was like 16 one time, and the one time where I was like, I fucking hate it here, was when they were talking to me, and these dudes were like 25, and they were bragging to me, like both of them were bragging to me about how they were going to the party in the school next to me, of like 16-year-olds. And I was like, so you went to a party full of 16-year-olds? And they're like, yeah, it was sick. And I'm like, why? Why did you go to a party full of 16-year-olds? You're 25. And they were like, oh, I wanted to get with the girls. I'm like, what? In the UK, it's legal for 16, but I was still like, what?
Yeah, but
what
still.
The fuck?
Yeah, but still.
And the only nice people there were the ones above 40, but everyone near my age was just the fucking worst. And every time I had to go and train someone, so I was there for like 3 months, and after 3 months, you're ready to train people. You're a fucking McDonald's veteran because you've lasted more than 90% of the fucking employees. No joke. Because
I believe that.
Yeah, I believe it, but it's hilarious.
They hired they overhire because they know that people are gonna like leave just on like. So I was teaching this one guy, and he was clearly like just like not getting it and didn't want to get it, and I could tell he was like, yeah, I'm not gonna listen to this. So about 2 hours into his shift of me teaching him, he goes, I'm gonna get a smoke break. Just never came back. He just left. He just straight up left. He never came back. And then I had to do the whole shift on my own, then doing all this shit. And I was like, I went to my boss and I'm like, yeah, he didn't come back.
He just went for a smoke break. And
he went for a smoke break about 2 hours ago.
Dude, he just pulled like the dad leaving for a smoke break. That's what I was thinking. He went to go buy cigarettes. He never came back.
Yeah, and he never came back. And I was like, wait, so what do I do? And they're like, oh, you just got to work on your own. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? So like I got for one another time I was making. It was the same guy actually. It was the first hour I was teaching him. And when you're
so what was the entire timeline? How long did he work here that you had to teach him for?
2 hours and a half, and he went for a smoke break. And but I had to keep working because and I asked, okay, this is really bad. And I could have fucking sued McDonald's for this. Yeah. So when we were, this really fucking hot oil. It's like 400 degrees, something ridiculous.
Like fry oil.
Yeah. It's ridiculously hot. And this asshole next to me, I was like, yeah, just gently put it in, Next to me while I was showing him, I'm like, yeah, so put the chicken nuggets in here. And he fucking slams them in, right? Oil went all over my hand, right?
Yikes.
And then I asked, could I go and put it under cold water to my boss? And they were like, no, you got to keep working. And I'm like, what?
Jeez.
So I'm here fucking like crying of pain, making these fucking burgers, right? And then...
And don't forget to smile.
Yeah, don't forget to smile.
Right? Don't forget to smile.
I have a third-degree burn.
And so I'm about an hour later, it's finally my time to get a break, right?
Yeah.
And I'm eating my burger, and you can see my hand is just bright pink and like blistered.
Yeah.
And the other manager, because of course there's multiple managers for this one McDonald's. The other manager comes in and is mortified. He's like, "What the fuck is that?" He's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Oh, I spilled oil on it." And then he's like, "Why didn't you put your hand under water?" And I was like, "Oh, because the other manager said I couldn't." And bear in mind, I was like 16, so I should have known that I could have been like, "No, fuck you, I'm putting my hand under water." But when you're 16, if the boss tells you to
You do what you're told,
you do
right?
what you do, right?
Of course.
So, and then he was mortified, and the other boss got in so much shit, and they apologized to me profusely. And then they were like, "Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to come into work tomorrow. It's all paid." And I'm like, "Wow, that's so nice of them." But I realized at the time they were just like hoping I wouldn't fucking try and sue them, right? Because I could have,
you could have easily.
I should have, honestly. And
That's like some serious OH&S problems.
yeah, and then finally, when I quit prematurely because I was just done. My manager was a total bitch. The store owner was horrible. She hated dudes. Like, she would always be so nice to the women working there. And and then whenever a guy did anything wrong, you'd absolutely like shit on. I know I'm talking so much. Sorry, it's the last story.
I just can't get over the fact that the dude left after
Yeah,
2.5
he
years.
fucking
Dude,
left.
my man was speed running McDonald's.
Like, I respect
Any
that.
percent. 2.5
It
hours.
took me like 8 months to realize what he realized in 2 hours, right? Like, that's what like I
That's just
regret.
respectable at that point, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, all right, this isn't for me.
Right.
I'm a head out. I'm out.
He just wall clicked out of
It
there.
was like, you know what, the reduced money on the meals just isn't worth it, right? Because, okay, you got to admit, right, I was the fucking king when school, and I was like, you want a lunch break? I get half price off McDonald's meals. Who wants to come? You get 2 meals.
I remember the cool kids in school were whoever worked at the coolest place and could get like the big
Discount, yeah.
the discount. So
Yeah.
whoever worked in the fucking gaming store,
Right,
they
right.
were the king.
Yeah, because I could bring my mate on lunch. I'm like, we can get a whole McDonald's meal for £2. Whole meal, any size you want. Treat yourself. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I could have got fat. So anyway, I'm working like a shift, right? And then I'd actually been training to be a lifeguard. I did all the stuff, and I applied to be a lifeguard. And when you work for a place, you got to put down a reference. Have you ever had this where they actually contact the reference?
No.
I'd never had that. So I just thought it was like a myth. I thought it was like a bluff. It was like, go on, name someone. Name someone.
I fucking dare you to call.
Name someone who will interrogate. I dare you.
Yeah.
So they actually fucking called my McDonald's whilst I was working my shift.
Right.
So they do it, and they come in like, so Connor, are you looking for other employment? And I'm like, why? Like, what do you mean? Like, because we just got a call from the council asking for a reference for you to be a lifeguard. What's up with that? You didn't tell us. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, why do I have to tell you?
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. You pay me $4 an hour. Like, what do I owe you? Like,
Yeah, what are they going to be? Like, you can check out, but you can never leave.
yeah, and I was like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I was looking for a better job, and they fucking like flipped a switch when I said a better job. They were like, what do you mean a better job? Think McDonald's is a bad job? And I was like, well, I mean,
Yes.
I'm looking around, and I'm like,
What surprised me is like how little self-awareness they seem to have over there, right?
because the thing is, right, I don't want to shit on some of these guys, because I know that I've met some managers at McDonald's that were genuinely like super nice guys, and they have such like, they understand like it's a McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
But the managers at my McDonald's, they were like, what are you trying to say? Like, you trying to say my managerial job is like a joke? Like, and I'm in my head, I'm kind of like, yeah, kind of.
Yes, actually.
Did you see the food safety thing we had to fill out online? That was a joke. Come on. It's like, don't shit on the lettuce. Obviously, don't shit on the lettuce. So the manager's really pissed off, right? And the store owner is coming in 10 minutes, and he's like, I want you to talk to the store owner and explain yourself. In 10 when he comes in, I'm like, are you serious? I'm 16. So.
They really did not want to make you leave.
They really like fucking put me through the ringer, dude, for this $4 an hour, dude. Like, can you believe that? So
you want your Xbox,
and my mom
right?
wondered why I fucking hated working here, and she was like, "No, you're just over exaggerating, Connor." And I'm like, "No, it was awful." So the store owner comes in, right? And they make me go and talk to her in front of the customers, and she's rinsing me in front of these customers, like shouting at me in front of these customers, and I thought that was like weird.
Yeah.
And then I was like about to cry, and I'm like, you know what? I quit. I quit.
He said it. He said it.
I was like, you know
I'm
what?
going for a smoke break. I'm gonna take my smoke break.
My mum was so pissed off at me. She was like, you have like, because I'd actually been accepted for the other job. And
Yeah.
I had a whole like a month and a half left before I start the other job. She's
Yeah.
like, I can't believe you quit a month and a half before your next job, Connor. Like, that's really like, what the fuck? And I was like, Mum, you don't understand how awful this was.
It's McDonald's.
Yeah, and like she was just chewing me out in front of these customers, and like I was just like, I'm not being paid enough to be humiliated in front of these random people, right? Like I don't. Come on, man. Like I am so fucking young.
Did you smile the entire time?
No, I was just sitting there like, okay,
Show the
okay.
smile as you're getting rinsed.
Yeah, and as she was just doing, I'm like, all right, you know what? Fuck it, I quit. Like I quit. I'm done. Like I'm not doing this. I'll finish this shift, but I'm done after this.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I never heard from them again. And then yeah, I went there like 3 years later after I'd like been killing it on YouTube. And then the manager, the one who's a dickhead, was like,
Yeah.
what are you doing now, Connor? I'm like, well, I'm kind of...
Wouldn't you want to know?
Well, I just got back from LA. I went to visit my friends in Japan. I was just making, I work when I want, make my own hours. It's great,
You should have just been like, oh, I eat at Burger King pretty regularly.
Just fill my tax return. Damn, did you know the tax rate's so high when you earn so much money? Dude, damn, that hurts, man. I'm sure. Okay.
Anyway, can I have a McFlurry?
Well, I mean, some of them were nice, but yeah, everyone was an asshole.
Yeah.